Nearly everybody in the community has a home. Your home might be a house, or a duplex, or a triplex, or an apartment building. Your home is probably where you spend most of your time, and how you feel about your home has a big impact on your quality of life. The place where you live helps connect you to your job, your kids' school, your transportation options, and other parts of your community. Housing is also important because it's a big part of your household expenses. Your rent or your mortgage payment is probably the single biggest item in your household budget. This has a big impact on your family because the amount of money that you spend on housing directly impacts the amount of money that you have left to spend on other things that you need, like food or clothes or healthcare expenses or recreation with your friends and your family. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, households should spend 30% of their gross income on housing costs. Housing costs include your rent or your mortgage, but they also include your basic utilities like your electricity or your gas, your water, your sewer, and your garbage. The Aloha-Reedville community has more moderate housing prices than most other parts of Washington County and the Portland metro region. However, as community improvements occur, property values are likely to rise. This probably means that rental rates and housing prices will go up. Now, that's probably good for some people who own property currently. However, it could mean that residents get displaced over time. For example, elderly households who want to downsize, or children who are looking to move out of their parents' homes might have to leave the Aloha-Reedville community in order to find homes that are in their price range. The Aloha-Reedville study and livable community plan is an opportunity for the community to talk about how to preserve the things that they like the best while considering how new and redeveloped housing will work best in the existing community. This is one of the things we'd like you to talk about today.
Well, I know that over like 60%, 80% of the houses in Aloha-Reedville are single-family homes. And that's because Aloha and Reedville is an older community. It was developed in the late 70s, and everybody at that time was in like their 30s and 40s, and they all bought houses in this community, this area. And now, of course, they're much older. They're in their 60s and 70s. And a lot of them have left, and more people have come in.
Over half the housing in Aloha-Reedville are single-family homes. A pretty small percentage of the housing are in multifamily apartment buildings. 70% of the homes in Aloha-Reedville have 3 bedrooms or more. Housing in Aloha is fairly new. Over half the housing in the community has been built since 1980. Remember, not every family can fit into a 3-bedroom home, and not everyone wants to live in a single-family house. If there are lots of housing options in the community, people who live in Aloha-Reedville have more choices about the kinds of homes that they want to live in.
I think, to me, housing equity means that there is housing that's available for all the people who would like to live in their community. And I think right now Aloha has a pretty good base of housing equity, but in thinking about the future, there's going to be a stronger demand for senior housing, more affordable housing, and more workforce housing. So I think there's work for us to do in terms of building more equity in Aloha-Reedville.
Housing equity means that there's enough housing in good locations to meet the needs of everybody in the community. When the housing supply is equitable, it means that there are homes that meet the needs of households without cars, elderly people, people with physical disabilities, and households with kids. In order to provide housing that meets the needs of everyone in the community, we have to think about several aspects: affordability and price, size, location, connection to transportation, shopping, and services, and housing quality. Housing that's affordable isn't all the same. Regulated affordable housing is housing that has some form of subsidy that makes the rent or the sale prices below market. You might think that all regulated affordable housing are in apartment buildings. Sometimes that's true, but not always. In the Aloha-Reedville community, there's regulated affordable housing that are in duplexes, triplexes, and in single-family homes. The regulated affordable housing in the Aloha-Reedville area is in as good or better condition than the typical housing in the neighborhood. That means that low-income families can live in quality homes that fit into their neighborhoods and help keep the community attractive and desirable. There are privately owned homes that are inexpensive. However, sometimes those homes are inexpensive because they're in poor locations or because the building is substandard or of poor quality. Aloha-Reedville needs to maintain and increase good quality homes that meet the needs for everyone in the community. Now we want to hear what you think. Thanks for participating in the discussion today. Your knowledge of the community and your ideas will help us improve housing in Aloha-Reedville and meet the needs of the community now and in the future.